Man, Keanu Reeves is going to be playing Shadow? I mean, I bet there's going to be a bunch of action. Now I'm even more sure. Alright guys, this one's going to be doing a review today, this one's going to be doing a review for today, this one's going to be doing my final review for now in the series of reviews for the Sonic the Hedgehog movies. This one is for Sonic the Hedgehog number 3 from 2024. So, we are caught up on the Sonic movie reviews. This is the last one for now. Obviously, there will be another trilogy of this. There's going to be a fourth one coming up, obviously based off that little post-credit we got at the end there. But for now, that is that for Sonic. Now, we have, in my opinion, a really, really amazing trilogy here, with this third one in particular. We have kind of a up-heeled kind of thing here. The first one's amazing. The second one is fucking amazing, like spectacular, like incredible. And I think they went just a little bit higher. It's by a hair, you know what I mean? It's not by much, because I still love 2 a lot, but I think this one's just a little bit better. Just a little bit better. And I think what it does to make this one just my favorite overall is the addition of Shadow and his character and his arc that you go through in this film. The end, from what it sounds like, to... you know, of course, Eggman, and obviously the Professor as well, too, you know what I mean? And we had a lot of, you know, sacrifices in this movie, but this movie really just has so many amazing things here. It kind of wraps up the first 3 movies, in my opinion. It kind of feels like a closing chapter, and then the next one's going to be like kind of a big continuation of something else, you know? Now, this movie obviously takes place in 2024 as well, too, even in the timeline, like, you get the characters that kind of acknowledge that. And we get an awesome opening scene with Shadow where he breaks out of, you know, kind of imprisonment where he's been at for the last 50 years. Now, Shadow's backstory I thought was really cool because he obviously was really close with this little girl, Maria, obviously, and obviously had, like, some agents that, you know, came after the Professor and everything. And, you know, one thing led to another, and Maria, unfortunately, ends up dying. And Maria, obviously, was kind of his sense of purpose, you know what I mean? She kind of, you know, made Shadow kind of innocent and brought him to life, you know what I mean? So, ever since then, he's been filled with rage, you know, losing the number one person that he cared about the most, which was that little girl, Maria, that he bonded with over some flashbacks that they do in this movie, which I thought was really, really good. And very touching, you know what I mean? Very touching and very sad, you know? You get all those scenes where they're, you know, kind of, you know, hanging out together and stuff. They're looking out at the stars together, and, you know, he's wondering if he's, you know, a good or bad person, you know, and then she kind of reassures him. So, I thought all that was amazing. And Keanu did a phenomenal job as Shadow. I mean, I felt every single bit of his, you know, character, and I thought he did a really, really good job in this movie. But I thought it was great because then obviously you get to see, you know, Shadow, he, you know, kind of has all this rage filled in him, so where he breaks out, you know, and he takes down all the soldiers at the beginning of the film, and you're like, oh shit, Shadow's out, you know? And of course, he goes to the big city, goes to New York, and he kind of looks around. He's like, 2024? Like, what? You know? And Sonic and the others are out on a picnic that day, right? They're out there just hanging out with their family. You got Tom, and you've got Maddie, as per usual, you know, hanging out with them and stuff like that. They're doing a big race, and they are there to celebrate the anniversary of when Tom first took in Sonic, right? So that was awesome to see as well. And, you know, they're hanging out and stuff. It's all going good. And then next thing you know, you got these agents that come down. Now, you got director Rockwell, who is played by Christian Ritter, who is an amazing actress. I know her very well from Marvel as Jessica Jones and Breaking Bad as Jane, and, you know, obviously Dexter Resurrection and all that amazing stuff. So I was very happy to see her in this film. Christian Ritter is one of my favorite actresses, honestly, ever. She's incredible. And to see her kind of play a bit of a villain in this one's cool because she takes them at first, you know, to deal with the Shadow situation, but then they, you know, jump out of the helicopter, they act like they don't really need her, you know what I mean? And then when it comes down to getting the key, you know, she kind of ends up turning into a bit of an antagonist for this film, using Eggman's equipment and all that other stuff. And it becomes pretty crazy because you then kind of have a bit of a, fight that goes down here with not only with Shadow, he's kind of an antagonist of like the first, portion of the movie, but then you also have Eggman that now has to team up with Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails. Now, Sonic, Knuckles, and Tails, I think, make an incredible team. They call each other the Sonic team at first, and then as the movie kind of goes on, they realize maybe that we're just the team, you know what I mean? And Knuckles, as per usual, is a standout. I mean, this actor, for one thing, Idris, the actor, he's incredible as Knuckles, and he's a very just likable guy. I like how so many instances in this movie, they're like fighting and stuff like that, and they're trying to come after, of course, Christian Ritter's character, Rockwell, but, you constantly have moments where Knuckles is just like, yeah, okay, so do we kill them now, It's like, no, not yet, no, hold off, I love it. Very authentic Knuckles, very authentic. He does a great job. Tails was also great in this movie. Sonic, obviously, was really good, and I liked the moments where they ended up kind of, fighting, because you had Eggman that kind of runs into his grandfather here, who used to work with Shadow, and then they kind of recuperate, and then Eggman kind of turns into an antagonist once again. Eggman is in it for himself, man. I mean, that's all it comes down to, you know what I mean? Even Agent Stone, like, he tries to meet up with him again, and he fires him, and teams up with his granddad, and ditches Stone, which I kind of felt bad for Stone, I'm not gonna lie. I was like, damn, just leaves him high and dry, you know what I mean? Stone's a dumbass, you know what I mean? He's an absolute sheep at the end of the day. But I kind of still felt bad for him in a way when he kind of started bonding with his grandfather and Stone was just kicked out, you know what I mean? I like how his grandfather has the same type of mustache, except he's older, so he's got like the dentures and shit like that, well, basically you have in this one Tom and Maddie that actually end up adding to the plot, And I see this complaint a lot with a lot of reviewers for the Sonic movies, is that a lot of people say, oh, Tom and Maddie, like, they ought to get rid of them, I don't see why they're in this. Well, I love their characters, personally. I think they're fantastic. I think they add to the films a lot, and they give a sense of kind of normalcy to what, of what's going on, And Tom and Maddie end up kind of saying, like, yeah, look, like, we're bored out of our minds. What do you need us to do this time, So they take them with them. Unfortunately, though, it does not go well, because even though they can, like, shapeshift into different people to make it look like that, they trick Rockwell at one moment when everybody kind of gets, surrounded in this room, and Tom acts like, obviously, her boss, so that, something can kind of happen here, and maybe he can get the key card back, but unfortunately, it doesn't go well, because, Knuckles, of course, and Tails and Sonic don't get there in time. Shadow comes in and absolutely, takes Tom out. And at a moment there, I was like, no way they're going to kill Tom off, you know what I mean? I was kind of thinking, like, no way they're going to do that, They made it seem like it at first, he's getting taken in by the ambulance and stuff, he's not responding, and I was like, okay, Sonic does this a lot with the fake-outs, and I fell for it this time. And that's why I'm not going to dock any points, because you tricked me, genuinely. I really did think that Tom was going to go down. I was starting to believe it, I'm not going to lie. I was like, you better not, One of my favorite characters is Tom. I love his dynamic with Sonic, and I love, everything that he does for him and stuff. Shit, it got me half emotional last movie, so honestly, yeah, no. I was glad that, they saved the reveal for the very end of the film, but he does end up pulling through, luckily, so... they gotta stop this shit from, ruining the Earth, basically, because, the grandfather of Eggman is absolutely losing his damn mind, so they gotta stop him, and you got Shadow that obviously wants to kind of ruin everything, but then he fights with Sonic, and you do get a bit of a turn in this film. Shadow turns good guy, Sonic makes him kind of see the light, and makes him realize, like, his protector is gone, right? Sonic's protector is gone, that we saw in the first movie, and that's the same thing with Maria for Shadow. And they kind of bond over that, you know what I mean? And it's like, listen, you could take your revenge, and Sonic's like, yeah, but taking revenge isn't going to change anything that happened to the people that we love that are gone, We got to just move past it, and the best way to move past it is together, and they end up, doing that. Now, there is a small cameo of Wade in this movie, which I did find funny, because I had to take that shit from him that he's using to play hockey, which I was like, okay. Minor cameo from Wade in this one, which I found was pretty funny. And basically, they end up kind of fighting. Shadow turns good guy. He goes up against his, boss, if you will, And, well, at that point, I did find it funny because, Jim Carrey's such a freaking joy to have on this, And I know that the actor has even said, like Jim Carrey said, like, I won't return unless it's something really good. So this probably is it for Jim Carrey on the Sonic movies. That's probably it for him. But I still really enjoyed the fact that he was in these movies as much as he was, and he was in 3 movies, and they kind of make it seem like this is his ending, because he ends up sacrificing himself at the end to save the Earth, right? And he leaves one final message for Agent Stone. I'm alright with that being the end of Jim Carrey for the Sonic movies. I'm alright with that. He's in the original trilogy, and, that could be it for him. But he's such a joy to have that I'm curious on what the movies are going to be like without him, because it kind of feels like this might have been his departure, Then again, who knows? Who knows what they may do? I mean, we know we got the 4th one coming up. He might be in it. You never know. But they may also want to do different things, which I'm all right with that, because you can't have Jim Carrey in there forever. Plus, I know these movies are going to go on for a long time from what I'm hearing. So, it makes sense. But his sacrifice scene at the end was really sad, and seeing him go up against his grandfather I thought was really exciting, you know what I mean? And I thought that fight scene was great. Knuckles comes in there with Tails, and they help out. They help Sonic out. And, they save everybody, right? They save the Earth. So I thought that was really fantastic, really good objective, and, I thought that was really good. And then you kind of get, like, the aftermath scene at the end, where it's like, no, let's not call each other Team Sonic. Let's call each other Team... Just team, So, thought that was great. Knuckles and Tails are fantastic allies for Sonic. We saw it in the last movie, but we saw it in this one as well. Really, really good stuff. And then obviously on top of that, at the end here, we have a little bit of a kind of ending sequence where we reveal that Tom pulled through, and we see them all kind of celebrate at the end. Nice kind of happy ending for them. But we do get a post-credit, and this was kind of an exciting one here. We get a post-credit at the end, which we've heard as well recently, a casting for this as well. We have the appearance of Amy at the very end. She meets Sonic at the very end there with some of the guys that surround him. She basically beats them up and takes them down. And we have Amy that basically comes through and meets Sonic at the end. Now, there's no voice acting in this one, but we've heard that Christian Bell is going to be playing Amy in the next movie. So Amy obviously is coming in, very classic character for Sonic. I was waiting for them to bring this character in, honestly, throughout these movies. And we have, a really good actress, I think, for Amy. So that's the main objective for the next movie, is getting Amy in here, kind of seeing what the conflict kind of goes from here with and all that other stuff. I'm very curious on how this is going to go down. I'm very curious to see how Amy's going to kind of mix in here in this film, and what they end up doing next. So it's going to be a fun time, y'all. I really, really enjoyed this movie. This being my favorite one, honestly, just because of the sacrifice here for, the Professor in general, his, big, final stand, Shadow and his dynamic with Sonic, the him turning good guy, moment and stuff. Keanu, I think, did a really fantastic job. I feel like the jokes mostly landed in this one. Even the ones where they broke the fourth wall, I thought were really funny. Like when they both acknowledge, like, yeah, I'm the same actor. It's like we're the same actor playing different characters in a movie. They look at the camera. I was like, yeah, that's great. So, yeah, it was a fun film. I had fun with it. It was a really fun film. And because this is the best one, I have no other choice but to give this a perfect 10 out of 10. Another 10 out of 10 perfect score here for Sonic. We have a 9.8 for the first one. We have a 10 for the second one. And we have another 10 for the third one. The 10s are continuing so far, this one being my favorite one. We'll see if 4 manages to keep that or not. It's Amy, so I'm cautious, but at the same time, I'm curious to see how this all goes. I'm very curious to see the fourth one. I think that's supposed to come out next year, so it'll be a little bit, but we're caught up now for the other films, and we're ready to go for the fourth one here, for the reviews. And we will cover the Knuckles series, which I believe takes place between the second and third movie, so maybe I should have done that first, but regardless, it's done now. I will do the reviews for Knuckles starting next week, and I have actually, unlike these films, I've never seen the Knuckles show. I've never seen it, so I'm going to be tuning in for this for the very first time. I just never got around to it for whatever reason, so I'm going to be checking that out next week, and I'll be giving you my overall thoughts. So Let me know your thoughts, post your comments down below. What did you think of this film, Sonic the Hedgehog number 3? And are you excited for 4? What are your predictions for Sonic the Hedgehog 4? And whatever information we get on 4, we will be covering it as it goes. So, thank y'all for watching. If you're new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, make sure to click subscribe button so you don't miss any of the videos. Make sure to follow me on Dan's Reviews Official on Instagram, guys. And of course, I'll see you guys really soon for more videos very soon. Enjoy the rest of your day, guys, and peace out.
Born in the dark alleys, city of concrete. Dan's reviews blowing up, never taste defeat. Walking Dead dissected every plot twist beat. World gone mad, TV junkies hit a treat. Typing up scripts, marathon through the night. His opinions hit harder than a street fight scene. Every episode, brain sharper than a knife. He's the beacon of critique, shedding TV light.